So recently I was able to go to my church's Thanksgiving service, and they had this opportunity for people to come up and share a Thanksgiving testimony about how God has been working in their lives recently. And I was a little skeptical to go up at first because I wasn't sure if I really wanted to testify because you have everyone looking at you. It's a little bit intimidating. But as I was sitting there and people were going up, I was thinking and formulating in my head what were some of the things I could say. And I realized these past few weeks I had the opportunity to actually go and share the gospel on my friend's campus. And that was amazing because I've never done evangelizing before to that degree. I was able to actually see Matthew 9 in action, where Jesus says, the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. There were so many people that were international students coming to experience Canadian culture, and they hadn't really heard of the gospel before. It was amazing to see how many people were receptive, and there were people from all different spiritual backgrounds that were open to listening. And so I had that idea, and I was like, you know what? Let me go share that on the mic. As I was going up, I was walking by through the pews, and I bumped into my dad, and he was like, oh, are you going up? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, make it quick. And just to give some context, my dad is very straightforward. He likes things to the point. He doesn't like it when people ramble a lot. I knew that ahead of time, and I knew I was going to bump into my dad as I was walking by. So I really saw this as a test, because in the past I would be influenced by my parents or my family's opinions, and that led to adjust to their preferences. They probably know what's best. But I knew in my heart God had given me these skills of storytelling and has refined me over time, and I knew I'd be able to share a compelling testimony. And so at that moment, I could clearly see a decision needed to be made. Do I trust my own instinct where God has equipped me, or do I follow and rely on what my dad said? And so as I went up, bits of fear and doubt started to creep in. Like, oh shoot, like what if I actually do speak too long and they're all gonna stare at me and they're probably gonna be judging me super hard. And it was those small things that really added up. My shoulders were more hunched. When I went up to the mic, it felt like it was so far away and I was like slipping. So I had to lean in and bend my neck forward. I just felt very, very uncomfortable because I was no longer relying on God's strength. I was relying on my own to save face. And so I was still able to share my testimony. It was a lot more concise, and it felt like it wasn't the full thing. I said something along the lines of, I'm thankful that God was able to use me to evangelize on campus. I used to be very scared, but I'm thankful that he's given me these opportunities. And so I went to sit back down, and I knew at the end of the day, God would be able to use that. It's not the work that I do, it's the work that he does through me. But I couldn't help but feel frustrated, guilty, and regretful at myself because, yes, maybe I passed 50% because I went up at the end of the day when in the past I would have not went to speak in the mic. But I felt like in order to get that 100%, I needed to share not out of fear, but out of joy and thanksgiving. While I was wrestling with these thoughts, the idea formed where if I just continued to practice speaking testimonies, I would feel a lot more comfortable when the time came and I had to give one more impromptu. And so I was like, this is a great opportunity for me to practice by, recording myself doing testimonies and sharing on YouTube or another platform. Bam, two birds with one stone. And in spite of those things that I deemed as failures, God was able to use that as ways for me to continue to grow and guide me along his path, not what I think is, 100% well done. So I ended up going home after that day. We had lunch with my family, and I was telling my dad what happened, and he said, why don't you take some time to share your testimony with us? And so I did. I shared the same testimony, but more fleshed out, more joyful, and less fearful at the end of the day. And my family was quite receptive. They were like, that was not long. It wasn't rambly. Thank you for sharing. I was like, wow, God, not only did you use me at my church, not only did you give me inspiration to refine my testimonies and share online, but you allowed me to minister to my most important ministry, my family. So from now on, I'll be continuing to post more of my testimonies online. But thank you guys so much for listening. If you made it this far and you want help landing job interviews, feel free to click the top link in my description below. If you want to know what I've been doing, I've been working on my startup recently. And if you like more of this, feel free to subscribe, hit the like button, comment if you felt like this testimony was encouraging. And if you want to watch another video, you can click right here. Thanks for watching.